So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And I want to start off by saying happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, bro. This is sort of a rough day for me, man. But you know, I always end up getting through it. You know, it's tough. But if you do still have your mom present, man, just make sure you tell her you love her, cherish her, all that good stuff, man. To all the wives out there, mothers, all of y'all, happy Mother's Day, all right? So, shout outs to that chapter, man. The next case on the blacklist is the case of Ronnie Reuter, all right? I think this is the first time we've had a case involving, I think, a professional football player. At least that's what I saw on the thumbnail. So this should be very intriguing. If you follow the NFL like I do, you always hear, not always, I don't want to make it seem like it's every day, but you do hear the stories of different situations that come up and occur, and it affects their career. Sometimes it's due to some of the hits that they take. You know, CTE, it causes them to be violent. Sometimes it's the women and the money, because it's a lot of money these NFL players be making. And it's just a lot that comes into play. So I can't really tell you which way this story is gonna go, but we definitely gonna check it out. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the fam. Shout outs to that chapter. Make sure you go show them a lot of love and subscribe to them as well. Here we go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this whole video, we're off once again, right? This time to Chicago. Finally, I know. To look at a story that is just, I mean, it's absolutely running out of adjectives here that I haven't used before. It's mad. This one is twisting. It's got love triangles. Actually, more like a love hexadecagon. Yeah, I had to Google it too. And it revolves around an ex-NFL player. Sean Gale played for the Bears for most of his career. And the people he met in that city, the city that never sleeps. Oh wait, no, it's it's windy there. Somebody should think of a name for that. One of the people he met was the yang to his yin. Or at least that's what, you know, she thought. Alright, here, come on. Let's stop tire kicking. Let's give it a go. So this one is set in Chicago. I don't really think I need to get into the where in this old one. We can fast forward past that part. Let's get to the when. But before that, we got to get to before. When? 1985, because that's when the Bears won the Super Bowl. That Chicago team has gone down as
Always hearing about them 85 Bears, man.
one of the greatest of all time. The Mike Ditka-led Bears losing just one game that season and trouncing the Pats 46-10 on the 26th of January 1986. That team was, you know, important, right? Important to the sport of football, but what's important to us is who was on that team. Sean Gale played cornerback, then safety. Though he wasn't a starter for the first 4 years with the Bears, during that 1985 season he played in 16 games, recovered one fumble, ran in a punt for a touchdown, and had 18 combined tackles. I'd say in Chicago, you know, the gusty city. There you go. Everyone on that team was a hero. Heroic, and beers for life on the house. Sean himself had a great career. He wasn't a starter for the first few years, but soon turned into a big contributor to the team. He was a Super Bowl winner in his second year in the league, played with the Bears for another 9 seasons, went to the Pro Bowl, then went to the Chargers for 1 season. Very respectable career. So why are we talking about Sean Gale? Well, far removed, right, from that epic time and that epic team, especially when you look at today's Bears, is where our story takes place, right, in 2007. Where that background relates to the now ground. After his football career ended, he was still in the football
Good old Mike Singletary, bro. That joker there is one of a kind.
world. You know, still a celebrity, doing interviews, hosting. all that sort of stuff.
You know, it's a roller coaster ride. It's very emotional. You have so much pride in what you've accomplished and the belief in the team and the city. Everyone's behind you. It's really something to experience.
Sean, a popular guy, soft-spoken, charismatic. And while he was, popular with the ladies, he was in fact though this wasn't really broadcasted very much, he was in a long-term relationship with a woman named Ronnie Ryder. She was from Potosi, Wisconsin. They had met in 1989 at a Bears charity event in Wisconsin and hit it off, remaining together for about 18 years, settling into the Deerfield area, an affluent suburb north.
You just don't hear them type of years thrown around too much anymore, right? 18 years. That says something. It means something.
18 years, settling into the Deerfield area, an affluent suburb north of Chicago proper. Even after being together for so long, they never married, even though Ronnie would have loved to have been. And in fact, they didn't even live together. Sean, it seems, wasn't quite ready to be settling down. After 18 years, when will he be? But in 2007, when Ronnie Ryder was 40...
Whoa, we can't just breeze past that without... I want to hear from some of the ladies in the comment section on this one. How do y'all feel about that? You know? And it's no right or wrong answer. It's no, this is how it's supposed to go. If you're happy and that's the way you feel happy in doing things, then we can't do nothing but respect it. I just want to hear the thoughts from now both sides, not just the ladies and the men. How do y'all feel about that?
After 18 years, when will he be? But in 2007, when Ronnie Ryder was 41 years old, she learned she was pregnant with Sean's baby. They were expecting a child together. They were happy together, both described as lovely, down to earth, even though Sean was a super champ, they were low-key quiet. Things stopped being quiet, though, on the 4th of October 2007. The air is crisp and autumnal, smells good. Things are red and orange and brown, and witches are lurking. That Thursday morning, right before 8 a.m., 7-month pregnant Ronnie was getting ready to go to work. She commuted into downtown Chicago, where she was employed at Macy's. It was about a 40-minute drive. That morning, as Ronnie was opening the door to leave, a gun opened up on her. She was shot 7 times with 9mm rounds.
What?
2 of those shots were aimed at and hit her unborn baby.
What? That just happened so fast. I was just about to stop the video and say, wow, I didn't expect to hear him say she worked at a Macy's, after being with a professional football player and stuff like that. Even though it's nothing wrong with Macy's, by the way, it's just not the typical thing you hear. So I was about to say, did y'all expect that as well? Before I could even get there, he went into her being shot and the baby? Are you serious?
Unborn baby.
Donnie, it's Krista downstairs. Are you okay? I heard a woman screaming, and I don't know, then it went quiet. Would you give me a call, please? Thank you. I heard a woman screaming, and then a pop, and it went totally silent. I called my other neighbor upstairs, and she's pregnant, and she does not answer. I left her a message to call me back. She was okay.
When the police arrived at 441 Elm Street in Deerfield, after the neighbor called, the door was open, and Ronnie was in the kitchen. She had stumbled back in. And when, in the house, the police saw pictures of the victim and a Super Bowl champ, it became big old news, big talk in the town. A reporter was actually the person to let Sean know, which is always kind of fucked up. And Sean then called the police to ask if this was true.
You're calling about that shooting in Deerfield? Yes. Listen, I've been getting calls from the media. This is Sean Gale, and they're naming me as a suspect. Hold on, please. Was it Ronnie Ryder? Is she okay? Yes, it was Ronnie, and no, she's not. She's dead? I'm driving to her house right now. Okay, don't go to her house. Sean, don't go to her house, okay? I gotta call her, sir.
A little bit. He did get emotional. I'll give him that. Not trying to say he did it, but the first question you asked was about you being a suspect. Kind of strange. But he did get emotional, so he might not have done it. He might not have hired anybody to do it either. I know that's in the back of my brain too.
So now, they had a crime scene on their hands. Us Bears. Ronnie had been shot 7 times. Also at the scene were 5 unspent shells also. Whoever did this must have literally been standing right in front of the door, waiting for it to be opened so they could open up on her. And shells were found in the house beside Ronnie, so the person really wanted to make sure the job was done.
And they never, it's like, it wasn't a robbery. Person's gonna push you in. They're gonna be worried about people on the outside hearing, typically for a robbery. But no, this person stood at the front door and unloaded. Didn't have no interest in coming inside.
The only witnesses, to the crime, which happened right around rush hour on a Thursday morning, though this was a pretty quiet town. A couple of witnesses said they saw what they thought was a short black guy running from the scene wearing baggy clothes and then getting away into a small black car, driving off. Now obviously Sean, he was not short, but he did become the initial person of interest in the case. After all, motives like, I don't want baby, have come up before. Just a couple of hours after Ronnie was shot dead in her home, her partner of almost 2 decades was questioned by police for over 10 hours. Imagine that. He was cool, calm and collected, and although some parts of his story of what he had been up to for the past 24 hours didn't...
I hope he didn't do it. I hope he didn't.
Quite add up. It didn't seem like he was involved. It did seem like he was lying, but not about murder. His inconsistencies were really to do with his timeline. The morning of the shooting, he said he got up, he worked out, and then he got a haircut. But it was before that they were more interested in, and who he had spent time with. Because it wasn't long after that the police did find out, when Sean told them that he had more women in his life than Ronnie. He said it was an open relationship. He's the champ, and champs get chicks, but Ronnie Ryder's family would say she wasn't into it. She wasn't into that sort of thing at all. But he obviously was, and it was what it was. Sean actually ended up giving the police a long list of women he had been with or was currently seeing. He listed the names of 16 women. And I will now read them out alphabetically and where they are today. So then it became, the leading theory, jealousy, woman scorned, something. They're a lot of fun. So when Sean was asked, hey, any of these honeys maybe want you for, themselves, he named one name. It was a woman he had broken up with about a year ago, and it was not good. He named a Polish woman named Monica. She had been stalking him, and he had to get an order of protection against her. A very, rational and, of sound mind move. She once punched through a window to show how much she loved him. That's dedication. How could he say no to that? Some of the women in his life had also been receiving some, hate mail, harassing, and they were receiving, legit mail. Whoever was sending these letters was dedicated, she had to go out and get stamps and everything. The letters were basically talking shit. Sean thought Monica may have been the sender. I think maybe you would like to know what your boyfriend Sean is doing with a lot of other women. He will lie to you and tell you a lot of stories and try to make everything sound like your fault, like he does to me. He gets away with it for a long time by pretending being busy a lot of times and let women spend one night only at his house. So I want to give you their names and telephone numbers so you can see for yourself. She then proceeds to list some. So there was some nutjob out there sending these letters to a lot of women. And funnily enough, when Ronnie died, there was one of those letters in her handbag. But Monica was cleared. She was a personal trainer and was personally training someone at the time of the shooting. She also denied sending any of the letters. When she was confronted with it, it's the first time hearing of it, apparently. Which was odd, because the letters had spelling mistakes on them, that's why Sean assumed she had been sending them. She wasn't a native English speaker or writer. So maybe someone wanted it to look like Monica had been sending them. And Monica...
Man, how did she get access to, all the names? How? Yeah, it's not making any sense right now.
It was now cleared. And so the investigation went on. So you get a strange person, possibly black, although others said it could have been just somebody wearing a disguise, but everybody agreed the person was short. You got a long list of women, some of which may be jelly. One of the people, who heard the shooting, the pow pow, would later say it sounded like there could have been a silencer on the gun, right, which fired a shot. So therefore you got somebody who knows their way around firearms and is also a cold-blooded mother effer who murdered a woman and an unborn baby. Then another one of these women came up. A certain Marnie Yang.
What was that?
They had met at a Bears event in 2005, and they went on from there. They were originally doing some business dealings together, a little real estate deal, and one thing led to another. Marnie Yang was a divorcee, mother of 3, and she worked a number of jobs, including real estate, waitressing, and modeling. And when I say modeling, I mean holy monkey! Lads, save that one for later. She was aspiring to be a fitness model. I don't know what to tell you. Hot diggity dog! They're the least sexy pics I've ever seen. It's like they slapped fake tits on a chain-smoking ferret. 2 months after the murder, police received a...
Yo, this dude here. Yo, what did he just say? Wow. Y'all gonna let him get away with that?
Tip. That Marnie was involved. More than one tip. Apparently, after the shooting, she was telling anyone that would listen that she was Sean Gale's girlfriend. He said, they hooked up a few times. End of list. But, and this is a big booty, they had hooked up the night before Ronnie Ryder was murdered. They also learned she'd been accessing his emails and was probably stalking him for a long-ass time. Started looking like Marnie might be our author over here. She also took this sweet-ass picture with a hog, and getting into his emails and all that was how she learned about the other women.
How you doing? I'm Marty?
Yes.
I'm Detective Chuck Schwartz.
I just want to find out your association with Sean, how you know Sean, when you first met Sean.
Probably known him for about 6 years. We met at a convention.
I only known him for 6 years. that's a long time, especially in these days.
Marty, obviously you know why we're talking all
Yeah,
this is about.
Probably not too many people out there.
Right, I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
They knew she had a list of women, and all of those women had received letters, including herself. Marnie also had a history of harassment. In 1998, a Chicago cop filed an order of protection against her after, get a load of this, she sent letters to him and his wife, threatening his life, career, and marriage. Woof. So by this stage of Sean was long cleared, but the police, they really wanted to get a closer look at Marnie. So what they did was bug Sean's house and have him invite Marnie over. And one of the first things he asked Marnie, was he had that letter. He was like, do you think whoever wrote these harassment letters could be the killer?
possible. Yeah, I think this person's a little unbalanced. Got a few screws loose.
My whole point, what I'm trying to bring up, anyone who takes someone else's life, has got to be some really lasting effect. That
I would imagine so. You have to be a sociopath in its purest form in order to be able to take another person's life.
Sound like she did it to me. Sound like she did it to me right there. Case closed. And he better be close to something to protect himself. Because if he don't think she'll do something to him, he crazy. Crazy.
I'm sorry.
Searching Marnie's bins, they found a receipt for the purchase of a book. The book being How to Make Disposable Silencers, a complete guide. Things were starting to become clearer. When the police spoke with her for a second time, they asked her where she was during the murder, and she said back home. Her son was too, he could back it up. That's what she said, and he couldn't do that. They asked about the book, and she said it was a gag gift. She said she did own 4 weapons, but the police already knew she owned 5. The one she left out was the 9mm.
There was another one. It was black. It was semi-automatic.
Where's that?
That one? I do not know. I want to say about a year and a half ago, something disappeared out of my house. I did not make a police report because I had no homeowner's insurance at the time.
Still not enough now, though, to charge her. Right, but they had one more thing. So that means we have to meet a certain Christy Passion, who was a, is this your card? Psychic. Psychics and magicians are basically the same, right?
Huh?
Christy would speak to the police. She was a close friend of Marnie Yang. And get a load of this, right? As a psychic, the day before the murder, Christy had done a tarot reading for Marnie. What card did Marnie get? The Sun! Well, shit. What more do you need to know? The sun means good fortune, happiness, joy, and harmony. It represents the universe coming together and agreeing with your path and aiding forward movement into something greater. Somehow I don't think...
In the words of Mari Povich, the lie detector determined that was a lie. That's all I'm saying.
those things are gonna happen to Marnie. But Christy, when she does tarot shit for her, she was convinced it would mean that Marnie would achieve her goal of murder. Christy was, she was a bit of a character, obviously. She said she had been in an army intelligence program called Gondola Wish in '76, which was an actual parapsychology program. The US was worried that the Soviets were going to get psychics to read minds, out-of-body experiences, all that. It's a whole conspiracy captain video right there, to be honest. It's all part of this fucking weird Cold War shit militaries were doing back then. Anyways, I'm not sure how Christy knew this, because she said that when she left the military, her memory was erased. Anyways, during an interview, Marnie had said she had visited Christy the day before the shooting. Now, after the police had spoken with Christy twice, she made a couple of conflicting statements. And they had this recorded phone call from the day of the murder, which sounded odd.
Christy Passion, how can I help you? It's June. Do you want to go to dinner? Okay. That's fine. Is everything all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay. Okay. Not a problem. All right, I'll call you later. Okay. Bye-bye.
They found out Marnie had rented a small black car right before the shooting, but registered it to Christy's address. When the police put a bit of pressure on her, she agreed to wear a wire. And this was in March of 2009. They got everything.
She started screaming and took the first shot. It was a black light on her eyes. And I just started emptying her. I took maybe 1 or 2 steps into the kitchen to finish the job. And diving to the crime scene.
Marnie had shot her at the door, went in, tried to shoot her again, but the gun jammed a few times, hence the unspent rounds, but she got one off at Ronnie's head. She then...
Thank gosh for The Wire, man. Because I don't think they would have got her without it. They were hitting dead ends. And this is insane. What type of love is that? I don't want that type of love. No. No. I told y'all the other day, my homeboy sent around a text message, was like, could you deal with 9 women if you had the opportunity? I was like, no. One's enough. One's enough. One. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that type. That's scary, bro. And for somebody to do that, and also do that to somebody who's pregnant, you're a different kind of mental. You're a different kind of savage beast. That's scary. Super.
Marnie was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. She pleaded not guilty. The trial went ahead in 2010. Marnie said she knew about the recording, that she was being recorded the whole time. It was a tall tale. The confession? Bullshit.
Alright, I'm gonna make it up.
When I told the truth, I was actually lying. I wasn't telling the truth. I am telling the truth now, though. She said that her son, he'd been questioned by the police, and they had threatened to arrest him and maybe charge him with murder instead. So she just invented a whole load of stuff. She was found guilty. Life in prison. So, slam dunk. It was for almost a decade, actually. Now, Marnie is trying to get out of prison. Basically on the defense I just gave. Marnie and co are alleging that her kids were forced to confess and cooperate with the police, and that the real killer is still out there.
What's going on right now presents an unprecedented and imminent danger to my immediate health and safety.
For 11 years, Marnie Yang has lived a life behind bars. Now she says her life is in jeopardy.
Well, my age is one factor. I have diabetes and I suffer from severe asthma.
The Illinois Department of Corrections tells us they are following national health guidelines. This new plea for Yang's release comes as her defense team is asking for a retrial. Yang was convicted of shooting Ronnie Ryder, killing her along with her unborn child. The defense is awaiting results of fresh evidence from the murder scene, like this fingerprint that was found on a doorknob at Ryder's home.
Why did you confess to the murder of Ronnie Ryder?
Oh, well, I can tell you that by the time I decided to make the confession, my family had been under relentless attack by Lake County detectives, to the point where my children actually suffered a breakdown. They repeatedly kidnapped my son from school and threatened him, and there was nothing we could do about it. We all felt, just so helpless. I was willing to say anything at that point to protect my children.
There is a website, Free Marnie Yang, and it's aimed at overturning the conviction. Evidence, they say, that she did not do it, as follows. A report states that whoever shot Ronnie was a good bit taller than her. Marnie, shorter. They also say that DNA was found, fingerprints, and that someone had in fact stolen her gun. It seems like someone may have in fact, and a thief even confessed to it, but the police never told Marnie's defense about it, and the gun has never been found. Also, witnesses placed her at her home. Her son did say she was there, but he was pressured into saying she wasn't.
When investigators discovered Ronnie Ryder's body in her Deerfield apartment the morning she was shot to death back in 2007, in addition to the gunshot wounds, the coroner noted injuries to her face, abrasions and bruisings to below her left eye, her lips and chin. Now, an acclaimed forensic pathologist hired by Marnie Yang's family says those injuries happened several days before the murder, not when she fell after being shot.
So what about the car being rented? Her saying she put on makeup. That explains people seeing a black person You know, she described a lot of things in that alleged confession that were present at the scene. So how does she explain some of that other stuff?
Beat up Ronnie Ryder 2 days before her death is the killer. Sean Gale. I mean, he dated Ronnie for 16 years, and we're questioning his alibi. Timeline just does not add up.
So yeah, I mean, the things that her defense are alleging, it's interesting, I'll give it that, and I think it's definitely worth looking at, right? But there's also a whole lot of shit that would put you in the direction that she definitely did do it. The letters, the rented car, the confession. It's a sad story, though, all around. And it seems like there will be a couple of new hearings before we will actually, get to deciding if there will be a second trial for Marnie Yang. I mean, I think it's more likely she did do it. You got motive even just right there. And witnesses did describe the suspect as being shortish, 5'4". One witness even saying they thought it was a teenager. Marnie was quite short. But I would be extremely interested in seeing what would happen if she did get a new trial. Not sure how likely it is, though, and COVID delays are no doubt having an impact. I think she probably did do it, but hey, crazier things have happened, and maybe there's a whole, smoking gun, we just don't know. I mean, honestly, so long as she doesn't do any more modeling, we'll be good. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Wow. That's scary. A woman and her unborn child. That's completely, utterly just scary. The fact that happened. Somebody could even do that. Is no other way to put it. It's just scary. Man, oh man, how your life can change in a blink of an eye. I don't know. I don't even know where they go from at this point. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's still a lot of questions unanswered. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all have the same, thoughts that I have, or similar, or maybe you have something different if you do put it in the comment section. But what do y'all think? She do it? Or didn't she do it? Is she being held in jail? Was she wrongly convicted? Or is she do it? What are y'all thoughts? This is all alleged. Like, what do y'all think? This is a crazy one if I've ever seen one myself, bro. That is insane. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you think and stick around and stay tuned. Till the next one, I'm gone. Peace.